Sunday swings. This is for March 31st, 2025. This is an updated version of my Sunday swings after going through them with my mentor. USD JPY. Weekly is bearish right now on the pullback at the area of interest. Daily is currently bearish. Higher high, higher low. It's created a new higher high. This is the new higher low. And we just closed under that, shifting us bearish. This was one of my mistakes and the reason why I didn't have this trade on my today pair. 4 hour shifted bearish as well and is on the pullback. All I am looking for is an accumulation on the 15-minute to look for my entry. GBP CAD weekly is at the higher high. Few indecision candlesticks, therefore I could only look for a counter trend. Daily currently shifted. Another mistake of mine was not counting this as an elbow. This closed engulfing this, therefore it counts as a valid elbow. So when daily closed under, it means it shifted and we're on the pullback now. So all I am looking for is a 4 hour shift to structure and a pullback to look for my accumulation. Euro USD weekly is at the higher high. Few indecision candlesticks. Daily shifted bearish is on the pullback. 4 hour is bullish, just waiting for the shift to structure. Now, my mentor believes that weekly is on the pullback right now. Therefore, you can't look for a counter trend. Now, I'm going to test out my theory because I believe that I could still look for a counter trend just because these are all indecision candlesticks. He says it doesn't look as nice and he'd prefer us to just wait for the weekly to pull back to continue buying. But I will still look for a counter trend and see how it plays out. I will take this trade with caution and I completely accept the risk for the outcome. Trades that might happen tomorrow. First pair is USD SGD. Weekly is bearish at the area of interest. All I am waiting for is a daily shift and a pullback. Well, once the daily shifts, I'll just look for my pullback on the 4 hour. So I just need a daily candlestick to close here. Therefore, it takes at least one day for this to be ready. Is it going to happen tomorrow? Probably not, but it takes at least a day. USD NOK, we're at the lower low. We have an indecision, only looking for counter trends. Daily, just waiting for it to close above here. Then I'll look for the wick pullback to enter. GBP USD, weekly at the higher high. A bunch of nice indecision candlesticks. Now here's the difference. This is okay to take a counter trend. It looks clean. This more looks like we're kind of coming on the pullback. Slight difference, but I'll still test out my theory. Waiting for the daily to shift structure because we are currently bullish. Higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then we close engulfing right here, which shifted as bullish. And I'm just waiting for daily to close under here. Shifting as bearish, then I will wait for the 4 hour break and retest of this kind of accumulation zone. USD check. Weeklies at the lower low, few indecisions. This one's similar to GBP USD. Daily, just waiting for the shift of structure. We want daily to close somewhere above here. And then I'll just wait for the 4 hour break and retest of the zone. CHF JPY, weekly pulled back to area of interest. Now, my mentor claims that there's no area of interest over here, but I actually found one. I have one tap, two taps, and three taps right here. And it is only a year back, so it is still valid. So all I am waiting for is a daily shift, and then I'll look for my entry. For this week's pairs, these are pairs that will not happen tomorrow, but can still happen this week. First one is going to be GBP AUD. We're at the weekly higher high. Waiting for a daily shift the structure to take my counter trend. So I'm just waiting for daily to close above here. Now you have to remember this candlestick has not closed because I am doing this kind of late, so the market is open. Waiting for daily to shift bullish up here and then to shift bearish. Sorry, I meant waiting for daily to create the higher high and then shift bearish down here. Therefore, that can't happen in a day, at least 2 days, at the quickest. CAD JPY, we're bearish at the area of interest, simply waiting for a daily higher high and then to shift the structure. Euro SEK at the lower low, kind of a rejection candlestick, so don't really want to look for a wick pullback to continue selling. Instead, I'd look for a counter trend, so I'm waiting for data to create a lower low and then shift to look for my entry. Euro JPY, weekly is bearish, pulled back to the area of interest, simply waiting for daily to create a higher high and then to shift structure to look for my entry. USD HUF, weekly pulled back to this area of interest. Daily kind of created a higher low, so I'm waiting for daily to close above this, shifting us, no, sorry, creating a new higher high, and waiting for daily to close under to shift as bearish to look for my entry. These are pairs for this week that I am not interested in. I'm going to start with the bottom. NZD CAD. These two, they always have internal structure. AD, NZD. They're not going to break out anytime soon. NZD, USD. Pullback is messy. I don't like it. AD, USD, same thing. AD, CAD, same thing. USD, ZAR, same thing. USD, HKD. Market structure is not 100%, and we are within internal structure. The pullback doesn't look too clean, like it's kind of messy over here. So I'm not interested. USD CAD, same thing for the past few weeks. We've just been chilling up here. Nothing's been happening until we at least break out of this structure. Euro AUD, we're at the weekly higher high. Let me see. Daily is strongly bullish. Yeah, daily's not shifting anytime soon. Unless we create a higher high and then we come all the way down here and then shift. At that point, I just strongly don't believe it's going to happen this week. And either way, we are kind of already worked into the next weekly structure point. So we're kind of at where take profit would be. GBP NZD at the higher high. I apologize. I need to remember the market closed over here. So this is where I was doing my Sunday swings. We closed slightly above. This is so messed up in so many ways. Never mind. Yeah, it's a little weird. But either way, we closed slightly above this, creating a new higher high, and we were simply too close to take the counter trend. So yeah, that's why it's not on this week's pair. GBP USD, we're bearish on the pullback. There's simply no area of interest over here. Euro PLN, the pullback looks very messy. I'm not interested in getting in here. Euro HUF, weekly is bearish on the pullback. Daily is just not going to shift structure. We're too bullish. USD SEK at the lower low. The next take profit for a wick pullback would be right here. I'm not interested. It's way too close. We already wicked in. And then for a counter trend, the take profit is also too close. If daily shifts, we're already past take profit. AUD JPY, weekly is just very messy down here. I'm not very interested in it. Euro NZD, we're kind of at the weekly higher high. Don't count this candle. And we close as a bullish engulfing, so I'm not interested in counter trends. And then, yeah, we're just waiting for a weekly pullback. Why is that? That's a good question. Well, we're not shift. Interesting. Not gonna bother myself too much with this pair. Euro CAD, similar. It doesn't look good for a counter trend. Just the pullback is weird. He believes we're on a Weeklies were on pullback. Plus, daily's not shifting anytime soon. We're strongly bearish, bullish. Euro GBP on the pullback to weekly area of interest. No, sorry, it's at the weekly area of interest. Daily's just strongly bullish. It's not shifting. NZD it's on the pullback. We're just not at an area of interest at the moment. There is one that's very far back. It's just most of the taps are over here in 2023. It's very far back, so we're not interested. USD MXN was at the area of interest. Daily's just strongly bullish. It's not shifting this week. USD DKK. This counts as a pullback. My mentor counted this as a pullback. I thought we were at the lower low, but weekly's actually having a pullback. So I can't look for a counter trend anymore. And if I were to look for a continuation sell with the weekly, daily would be too bullish for that. Same thing with USD PLN. Counts as a pullback, not a lower low. And then for the continuation, daily would be too close to take profit for this one. USD HKD on the pullback. GPUSD is better than all these three. That's kind of why I don't really have them, just because we have a much better option right here. Where is it at? Here it is. Yeah, it's much cleaner than all of them. So that's really mainly the reason why we're not interested. No counter trend just because the weekly just looks bad. And yeah, that is simply it. This is my pairs updated. Yeah, thank you for watching.